Hey folks, here I am again. This is my TT-01E, which you will notice is not carbon anymore. I've done away with the carbon chassis because I was very surprised when I first got it of the build quality of the carbon and stuff like that. And slowly but surely things kept cropping up that I just couldn't ignore anymore. Precisely, some of the fitting was very questionable, and that also translated to a drive shaft that was, well, made of aluminium. That's very nice, but apart from that, it was very, very wobbly, and that resulted in the pin securing the main spur gear, which is usually here on a Tamiya model, to fly out and hash the gear and basically strand the car as I was driving it. So that was no good. That led to me transferring all of the electronics back into the original chassis, which I had to modify a bit, particularly for the square lithium polymer pack to fit in here, because with those structural braces that are in the battery compartment, it didn't fit. You couldn't get it in there, so I had to Dremel some bits out of it. And what I also transferred into the chassis is the GPM aluminium steering, completely adjustable. And I also did away with the servo saver. I installed a new servo from a Maui. What I took over from the carbon chassis are the aluminium servo mounts. I know that the screws are too long. Those were the only ones I had available for the moment. And what I also salvaged from the chassis is the rear bumper, plus its carbon holding plate, and also the brace for the holder for the power pack, because I also had to use the little mounts for it, because the original Tamiya mounts are too short to actually fit a LiPo pack, a square LiPo pack in here, because they're too high and the mounts are too low. So modifying the brace did nothing, because it still wouldn't fit. So I had to do this, which was a bit hard to do, because obviously there are flat sides to these pin mounts here. So I had to press in the aluminium mounts so I could actually use them. I'm sorry, that was my finger. I'm using this new camera I just got yesterday. I hope it does some decent work capturing the car as it sits. I also hope there's not too much wind noise, because I hope this thing suppresses it rather well. Sorry, that was my finger again. So, yeah. For me, it's an issue of reliability, and the carbon chassis was simply not doing it for me anymore. So, it wasn't expensive, but it was a bitch to maintain, so I chose to do away with it. So, now that's enough of me talking. Let's see if this thing actually works as I intended to. This thing has a 4600 kV motor, 60 amp ESC, and a 7200 milliamp hour battery on 2S. Not planning to go crazy with 3S or something. So, yeah, it has all the same tuning parts as before, just a plastic chassis. What you have maybe seen is the Sky RC gyro, which I've disconnected for the moment, because I still need to get a new receiver, because apparently it's better to run this with a 3-channel receiver, and I've only ever used the included high gain profile, which results in the car skating along like a fish in a tank. So yeah, that's something I need to change. Alright fellas, here we go. On. Receiver is on. Let's see if we can make some passes with this. Hopefully it'll hold together better than the carbon chassis ever did, because that was a goddamn train wreck. Yes, I'm aware there's magnetic mounts and stuff like that, but When I was originally running the carbon chassis, I wasn't thinking of that, I was just trying to make it work. And after mangling the first body of this thing, of the Lancia, I was kind of fed up with modifying it around, so I wanted a normal body post. So this, as you can see, is the Lancia Delta HF Sacrilegio, as I call it, because it's not white, it does not have any of the decals on it. All it has is the front grille and a honking big neon red stripe down the center, because that's how I like it. So let's see if this thing actually works. This was about, I don't know, 70% throttle. I'm not going balls out with it yet because I still want to get the gyro to work. But for that, I need to replace this thing with something that has at least 3 channels, because this only has 2 and I can't control the gyro with it. So that's something that's yet to come. Let's hope, at least. It's pretty stable, which is surprising since this isn't already set up correctly. Still drives to the left a bit, but apart from that, it's very controllable, very nice to drive. We actually chose this parking lot because it's very level, and it only has 3 light posts in the middle of it. And looking at it, I'm not really understanding why I'm driving on the left side of it, because there's more space on the right. But there have been a few cars in this car park in the last few minutes, so since they're all driving on the right, I thought, why not stay on the left? Something that I also want to change again is to a 55 teeth spur gear and a 28 teeth pinion, because that's what I had in the original carbon version of it, and it went like stink. It was this fast that it was damn near uncontrollable. But since I don't have a 55 teeth spur gear right now, this is all stock. It's the stock pinion, it's the stock spur gear, and it still goes like the clappers. So you push this thing and it'll still push its tail out, but despite being a 4-wheel drive car. So there's still more left where that came from. And with the Tamiya chassis being a reliable beast, I'm actually confident enough to actually go balls out with this for once. One thing I also did to this was that I limited the maximum travel of the steering linkage quite some bit, because if you go all out on this thing with the steering linkage, the GPM steering buckles are a bit larger than the ones you get on the original Tamiya setup, because they're screwed in their fixed position. You can't adjust them. So with these, they're fully adjustable. And if you go normal travel on this thing, if you go full travel, you hit the front gearbox. So either I would have to take something off of the gearbox, which I don't want to do, because then after, if you put holes in this thing, you get dirt and all the other stuff that you don't want in a gearbox. So this is likely what I will be keeping, so it doesn't do as sharp turns as it used to be. But I like it better this way, because this way, if you don't go full travel, you can also not spin it out as easily as you could before, because I did this on another car, the Kyosho Phaser, which has a lot of more steering travel, and I was able to flip this car, the other one, even with the other car having a lower center of gravity than the TT-01 has, and also a milder motor. It has only a 3000 kV motor, and I was still able to bounce this around like a fucking rubber ball. So yeah, I'm rather going to keep this thing like this. One more pull and then we're out of here, because frankly it's getting cold. I don't know if you can actually hear the wind noise or if the suppression on this thing works really well. But yeah, we're freezing our butts off here, and I'm freezing off my hands, as you can likely see, as they're blue like hell. So yeah, one final pull around the car park and then we're leaving. But if you have any further questions, then go ahead, ask. I will hopefully put this up on YouTube in the next couple of days, or maybe today, who knows. It's the 27th of March, so we'll see. Whoops.